Sepp Blatter has finally said he's sorry, but after being banned from football for 8 years by the sports world governing body FIFA, it seems he's mostly sorry for himself. In a combative press conference in Zurich following the announcement of the ban by FIFA's ethics committee, Mr Blatter said he was still president of the organisation and the committee had no right to relieve him of his duties. Both he and the European football chief, Michel Platini, deny any wrongdoing over an alleged £1.3 million payment to Mr Platini in 2011. Our chief correspondent, Alex Thompson, reports.
FIFA man and boy, FIFA man and schmoozer. Today, Sepp Blatter's world began crumbling for real.
Mr. Blatter, you've been kicked out in disgrace.
Not just him. The former French star player Michel Platini's bid to run FIFA looks tonight like a pile of rubble. This morning, the adjudicatory chamber of FIFA's ethics committee ruled
Mr Blatter, in his position as president of FIFA, authorised the payment to Mr Platini, which had no legal basis in the written agreement signed between both officials on the 25th of August 1999. Neither in his written statement nor in his personal hearing was Mr Blatter able to demonstrate another legal basis for this payment. His assertion of an oral agreement was determined as not convincing and was rejected by the chamber.
Hours later, in Zurich, the Blatter counterblast. The setting, the old FIFA building where he once ruled. The style, victim sporting a plaster on his face from routine medical treatment. The politics, defiance, right down to the carefully scripted intro.
I give the floor to the elected FIFA president.
To general astonishment, he kicked off by invoking Nelson Mandela.
Mr. Mandela was speaking about humanity.
The same Sepp Blatter, of course, who began talking 10 seconds into a minute's silence for Nelson Mandela at the draw for the Brazil World Cup.
And now let's celebrate.
His message, he's the victim of a witch hunt. Blatter says he's sorry for many things, but bunging his mate 1.3 million quid with no legal basis isn't one of them.
I am sorry that I am still somewhere a punching ball, but I'm sorry that I am, as president of FIFA, this punching ball, and I'm sorry for football. I'm sorry. But I'm also sorry about me, how I am treated in this world.
It was to take Sepp Blatter 14 minutes and 45 seconds precisely to admit that he'd done anything wrong at all. The 1.3 million gift should have gone through the books.
I agree to that. I agree to that. But this is administrative and financial, let's say, proceedings, and this has nothing to do with ethics.
In case you missed it,
and this has nothing to do with ethics.
Giving your friend 1.3 million pounds of your organisation's money and not putting it through the books has nothing to do with ethics. Visibly angry at times, he said, "I am still the president. I have a lot of powerful friends in FIFA." And he added, "I will appeal."
Even suspended, I am the president.
So too Michel Platini, though his bid to run FIFA now looks sunk by getting into what Sepp Blatter called a gentleman's agreement and FIFA Ethics Committee called an 8-year banning offence. All of this, of course, redolent of the industrial level corruption FIFA now stands accused of more widely. Possibly for Blatter himself, definitely for scores of indicted FIFA officials. Today's ruling is a soft play area. Major criminal investigations into FIFA loom in Switzerland and the US. Forget ethics, committees and bans. These are about detectives, criminal courts and a thing called prison.
Alex Thompson reporting. Now, Alexandra Rogge was among those watching Mr Blatter's comments closely today. She resigned in frustration from FIFA's Independent Governance Committee in 2013, and I spoke to her earlier. I began by asking whether she thinks FIFA does finally now understand the point she was trying to make.
Well, I think it continues to be a process, and I, of course, wasn't alone in criticizing FIFA for its indifference to reform. But this is an enormous symbolic step. I think there's still a lot of work to be done. The Ethics Committee can only do so much, but standing behind them are the US and Swiss enforcement authorities, and I think there's probably more to come.
Could you see at all, when you were there, how the thing could be rebuilt? or would it require absolutely every single person on the executive, frankly, to leave and the whole thing to start again?
I couldn't see that then. I knew that there wasn't really much appetite for reform. That's one of the primary reasons I left. It was just turning into window dressing, frankly. But it was difficult to see back then. I left in 2013. It was difficult to see just how appalling it was. There was a strong sense of indifference and a sense of impunity at the top, and that can lead to all sorts of misconduct. But the misconduct we hear about more recently wasn't something that we even imagined at that stage.
Well, you use that word impunity. It seems that that is still the dominant theme within Mr. Blatter's head.
Yeah, it's true. Listening to his comments, he still can't quite seem to believe that anybody is challenging the way that he ruled over his fiefdom, and I think that's a pretty good sign that it's time for him to go. Back in the spring, when he was running for office again and then resigning, and he was still very much on the fence, but he's pretty much locked out of the building now.
Now, the one thing which is true about all of this is that the whole thing is a horrible embarrassment to the sponsors of world football. And one wonders the extent to which you sensed when you were there in 2013 that sponsors would kind of have to know that there was something a bit awry at the top.
I think, frankly, that the sponsors have made the decision that the governance embarrassment is outweighed by the enormous marketing bump that they get from having their name all over the World Cup. I think if the sponsors were going to do something really meaningful, they'd have done it before now. And I'm not referring to just letters saying we are very unhappy with the way things are going.
Are you keeping your mobile phone on just in case they call you to rebuild the edifice?
Oh, good grief. No, I think FIFA has had quite enough of me, and I think it's time for new management.
Alexandra Rogge, thank you very much indeed for talking with us.
Thank you.